Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a new show, second time, with Steve. We're gonna talk about obviously Serie A, but football in general. But we'll start off with Serie A because it's been a typical 48 hours in the world of Serie A football. But first off, how are you doing, Steve? Because I know you did a watch along for France, Luxembourg, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. So how are you doing?
yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I did two watch alongs. I did the Denmark Sweden game. That was a very good performance for the most part from Denmark. Um, Kielman, man, in midfield, Morten Kielman, that Sporting. He was good at Lecce, and he's gotten even better. So he he caught my eye definitely in that game. And then yeah, I just did France Luxembourg. So yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Enjoying life. So
That's
I'm pretty good.
that's good to hear. Let's start off with talking about Serie A because this is still
Cool.
Juve channel. But we'll talk about other stuff, but Serie A, like it's shaping up to be it's shaping up to be very entertaining. And I'm not even
Oh yeah.
talking about on the pitch, actually the football, because Napoli announced Antonio Conte. There might be a twist on the Milan side of things in terms of coaching. Um,
Yeah.
there's no twist for Lazio. It was kind of like no shock, but a lot. Let's start off with Lazio because you support Lazio.
Yeah.
Tudor has resigned basically, which is weird
Yeah.
because yesterday, like it was hanging in the air, like oh he's gonna resign, and then it was like no, they're gonna meet again next day, so today, and they're probably gonna sort it out some difference on how the transfer market will be operated, and then today it's like yeah. Tudor is gone. He resigned. He will have a presser, I think, tomorrow. I think that has been reported, which is also going to be fun, I guess. But Tudor is gone. He stayed for 6 months. No shock for me because that's how Lotito kind of operates. I get like if you stay long term in a job with Lotito, like Inzaghi, I give him credit, and I know like he is a Lazio legend, but still, like legend or not, man, that guy needs to have a lot of patience, you know. But Tudor
Yeah.
is gone, so what now, Steve? Like what now?
What now? I don't know. Apparently, Allegri is one of the guys. And apparently, Antonio, or not Antonio Conte, Maurizio Sarri's linked back with the job, which, that's Lazio summarized up for you. Guy resigns, and now we're linked back with him for some reason. Is Maurizio Sarri, like, crazy enough to take it back? Maybe. And bro, I don't know with that one. But yeah, in terms of Igor Tudor, look, I liked the hire, and I knew it was going to be a short term thing. I literally posted a tweet today of when the day we hired him. I was like, all right, cool. This isn't going to last long. It'll last, probably 6 months or whatever it is. And here we are. Yeah, he didn't get what he wanted at Hellas Verona. He was just like, all right, I'm out. Didn't get what he wanted and fell out with management in Longoria at Olympique de Marseille, and he left. What was he going to do when he came to Lazio? What other outcome was there going to be? When you're dealing with Lotito, who is a poorer version of Levy, a poorer version of De Laurentiis, but he's even more stubborn and more of a control freak than them two, what was going to happen? He was going to resign.
Yeah,
He was going to resign. So this was always going to happen. Yeah, it don't phase me, bother me, surprise me, or anything. I like him as a coach. I thought he did pretty well with the players in the squad and the style that we were trying to go with, considering it was a complete formation and tactical change from Sadi's 4-3-3 to a two-door 3-4-2-1 kind of thing. So I thought he did well for us. I wanted to keep him, but I always knew it was a short-term thing. So it is what it is. Where next? God knows. If we bring in Allegri, again, we're gonna have to recruit players that he wants for a three at the back because he's not gonna go 4-3-3 most likely. Not in the style because he wants a more defensive 4-3-3.
yeah.
Like we don't have those. So, bro, I don't know, to be honest. Like, at this point, just give me Miroslav Klose, someone who is club legend, or maybe not club legend, but someone, that we're all Lazio fans are very fond of. I love Klose. That's when I got into supporting Lazio around 2015. Scored a bunch of goals for us, so I love Klose. So just bring him in then. See what's up with that. Because with Allegri, it's yes, it's still a high status level coach. He is a big name, but is he in the decline? Yes, that's why he's linked with Lazio. The linking of Allegri with the Lazio job shows where we're kind of at, where we're looking at a declining manager, and it shows where Allegri's kind of stock in football is in terms of clubs interested in him. We're a decent sized club, but we're not top of the of any tree by any means. So yeah, I mean, rehiring Sarri would be pointless. And again, it would end in him quitting. So it's what's the point? And so just give it to Miroslav Klose. That's what I'd do. And that's what I probably think Lotito will do. Because again, it's a guy that Klose, he very fond of the club. Fans love him. It's our version of Ole, basically. But we don't have the expectations of Man United, luckily. So it's if he just does a decent job, just keeps us stabilized, has some stability of some kind. That's all it is. Give me a good cup run and whatever. So that's really it. I would go with Miroslav Klose. Not really on the Allegri thing, because we'd have to change our squad dramatically, and it's the funds just ain't there.
Yeah, but with Lazio, like you said, it feels like the Inzaghi one, Inzaghi coaching period is kind of a one-off. It feels like with Lazio.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a one-off, because Lazio, for some reason, they remind me of a relegation side that changes coach, but they're not in a relegation fight, if that makes sense. They're very unstable / stable in terms of they're always going to finish in the same bracket of places, basically. That's the stable part, but as a club, they never feel really stable. Again, the Inzaghi period was it's a one-off, it's strange. It was successful, you won stuff, but other than that, it's a one-off. Sarri resigned, Tudor resigned. I mean, even Lazio fans at one point, they should be getting pissed. No, they should be getting really annoyed with how the club is being managed. Yes, you're quote unquote sustainable, but you never really go for anything. The Lazio being top of the league when Sarri was coaching us, and then drop off. I don't think you can be really mad at it, because nobody was expecting Lazio to push on until the end, But
yeah,
as a club, if you see that happening, you're okay, we're gonna back the coach right now, because maybe we can push on and we can actually do something here. But it feels like Lotito's just happy to be there and hang around, and it's I've always said it, De Laurentiis, Lazio, Lotito, if an owner is that much involved, it's never a good sign. I'm sorry. It's never a good sign. He has Tare, but it feels like he is the main guy. When the owner speaks every single week, something is up. I'm sorry. I don't get why hire people with more knowledge about football than you if you're just gonna overspeak them, basically. It makes no sense. And if I were a Lazio fan, I would be absolutely annoyed by now.
Yeah. No, I'm completely fed up and annoyed, and just I just want a consistent game plan. But this is one of the problems with not having a stable manager and all this stuff. The problem is, and why I'm worried about future wise, is the Primavera gets zero investment. It's probably the worst Primavera or academy in the league. It's dreadful. There's little to no talent, investment, anything like that. We're run like an amateur club, to be honest. But you're right. We just somehow over the past 20 years, We've been involved in a somewhat of a title race more recently than like Roma, who played more in Champions League. They've won the Conference League, and they've had higher level players to some extent for a longer time. But like I remember the COVID year, the 2019-20, we were looking very, very good up until COVID, or up until January about. And I remember we lost away to Lecce, and then the season
Yeah.
fucking crumbled. Because that was prime Immobile, prime Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. It was fucking prime Luis Alberto. Anderson actually was at West Ham at the time, I believe. But when we had Inzaghi, we were doing very good in the league, and then COVID happened, and it was just horrible. It was horrible. We dipped really bad in form, and then like last year, we finished second. So it's like, yeah, we're just really weird, and you're right. We just have no stability, bro, at all. Um, I was thinking, like, when was the last time Lazio had like a manager like 3-4 years? It was Delio Rossi from 05 to 09. And I thought Sven Goran Eriksson was at the club longer, but that was only 3 years as well. So it's like, you're right. In terms of like Inzaghi, Inzaghi was there for 5 years. That's way more than the last time, or only a year longer than Delio Rossi was, but that was in 2005 to 09.
That was a long time
So
ago.
we don't keep managers for very long. And that's fine if you're winning things and all this stuff, because big clubs can do that. Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, past 20 years, they can fire and hire managers because they have strong, established squads. They're top quality. They have a good spine to work with, like center backs, goalkeeper, midfield, established core players, high quality. And they can just go on and win things, plug and place new managers, whatever. But like, we don't have that spine anymore because Milinkovic Savic is not here anymore. Even players like a Lucas Biglia who are part of the team for a while, or Lucas Leiva, like, those guys are long gone as well. So it's and Alberto, who knows what's going to happen with him? That's a soap opera in and of itself. So
You need a
Immobile has been linked with moves. So it's like,
They need a
bro,
rebuild, Lazio, like a complete because
yeah,
even Guendouzi was on the market. Now he's off the market because Tudor's gone. But like, you just need a complete rebuild from top to bottom.
yeah.
Like they need quality players. I saw you linked with a player from the Turkish league, and I'm like, man, stop doing these type of deals for once. Just be kind of
Who was
serious.
that?
I forgot the name. I actually forgot the name about the team Attila Sport maybe. Um, it was something like that. I'm like, that's typical Lazio signings, like the striker from, was it Fenerbahce? Who was that? Was it from
Oh
Fenerbahce?
my God, Verda Mariki. Oh
Yeah,
my
like
God.
those are
Oh
signings
my
Lazio make,
God.
and like the list goes on and on. They hit on a few players the last couple of seasons. You cannot go back to that, but that's just Lotito on the dark side of Lotito. Now going to another team in blue, it's Napoli,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to put it. They seem to be getting serious. If that makes sense. Y- if you sign Conte, you make some sort of statement that you want to win.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it's at Napoli because usually Napoli,
Yeah.
like, they won the league, and that's literally a one-off. Basically, the first time, I don't know, 30 years. So it's kind of a one-off basically. But now, if you
Yeah.
announce Antonio Conte, trying you're trying to tell the rest of Serie A, we're coming. We want to compete. But then again, it's like, I know how Conte is because he coached the club, he played for the club. Everybody knows how Conte is. Even if you don't
Yeah.
watch Juve, you know how he coaches, what his demands are. You know how he speaks to the media. He doesn't really care what the owners think. Especially ever since he left Juve, he's like, whatever. If you want to sack me,
Yeah.
you sack me because I'm on the high wages. Figure it out. Like, it's a match made in heaven/hell, basically. Because if
Yeah.
De Laurentiis is gonna spend, and I don't know to what extent he's gonna spend, and who is he gonna sell, then it could be a match made in heaven, because I think Napoli have a good enough squad to obviously not finish 10. If you win the league and you finish 10 next season, that's a mentality issue. That's the players saying, "Hey, we've done it, whatever." Right now, he will never allow these sort of things to happen. So that's that one. Um,
Yeah.
but still, like it's gonna be entertaining off the field, definitely. Going into pressers, going against him, playing Juve, playing Inter, going back and forward. I think like if Mourinho will be still in the league, it will be absolutely madness next season. It will be,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
if Sarri was still there, that would be actually insane.
And if Allegri joins Lazio, then it's like Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it could be a madness, but I don't even know how to. Somebody's saying my early prediction is Napoli are gonna win the league. This can go very well, or this can go very poorly. The thing going for him right now is they don't play Europe, and that's very dangerous for the rest of Serie A.
yeah,
Like 1 week, one game a week for Antonio Conte to prepare for. That's not good. Period. For any team, even if you're Inter, like that's a worry. If you need
right.
to play Napoli, if you play Champions League and then you need to play Napoli on the weekend, it could be a very long night that day. So I'm not sure what to
Yeah,
make of it because the reporting on transfers have been very, I don't know, like quiet on the Napoli side. There was a Kvara offer from PSG, and then it was like, no, they're not gonna sell. I'm like, they're gonna sell if it's 100 million euros. You need to sell if it's 100 million euros, and then it's like, okay, what is Antonio Conte gonna do with 100 million euros? Because the team needs fixing. In certain areas, the backline, like you cannot hand that backline to Antonio Conte. It's terrible. That part
yeah.
is
Juan
absolutely.
Jesus, Ostigard is good. I could see Ostigard being a, but yeah, Juan Jesus terrible. Rahmani terrible this season.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
those two were absolutely like, oh, they were actually extremely poor. And then you have the Di Lorenzo situation. That's very weird as well. Because Conte's like, I want to keep him. Napoli put out a statement he's not leaving, and his agent coming out saying he's gone.
yeah,
Like you can put out 1,000 statements, he's not staying at this club. So it's already kind of messy before it really kicks off. But what do you make of that signing? Because the way they announced it, it's like they announced God joining the club,
yeah.
basically. So
Well, they're excited about it because they know what Conte does. He gives you a chance. He gives you belief that you can win. He gives you
yeah,
belief that you can win because he does it pretty much everywhere. Um, and they won't need Europe because he's crap in Europe anyways. So like, if they are good, if Conte is going to win the league, it would be this season. That would be the highest probability because they're probably not going to drop off out of Europe next season. We know how that goes with Conte, so it's like they could be dangerous. It just all depends, I think, if they keep an Osimhen or if they bring in a Lukaku. What if Conte doesn't really want Osimhen for whatever reason? I think he will. I think he will because it's like I think Osimhen's just a better striker overall than Lukaku, especially in those clutch moments. Lukaku's not really the most reliable guy in those clutch moments. I'm thinking about the Belgium-Croatia game, missing sitter after sitter after sitter after sitter in the group stage, and it's that kind of Champions League final with Inter Milan as well when he missed that chance. So it's like, yeah, I'd rather have an Osimhen in that spot. So if they keep both of them, they like I said, bring in a Dorgu, Galid, what's it called? Gallo from Lecce, one of those guys. They need a left wing back, a proper left wing back, and Dorgu would be perfect for that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get linked with him. Maybe they get like Cucurella on loan or something. That would be interesting. Maybe you could do you know what I'm saying? So if they make certain moves, they could be really deadly because you're right. They don't have to worry about Europe. Um, he has to play attacking football though, which he did at Inter Milan. To be fair, he
he
did
did.
play
He did.
very
Yeah, yeah,
very good
yeah, yeah.
football. It was more on the break, but there was good passing. There was tons of goals. They would blow out teams. That was when Lukaku was probably at his very very best for
Yeah.
club. I mean, geez, that was scary. Um, I'm just curious to see kind of if he goes with a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. Because I think a Raspadori, but then again, how do you fit Kavicha into that side? You don't play Kavicha at wingback. So I think it would be more of a 3-4-3. But if you have an Osimhen there and a Raspa, you know what I'm saying? So, or if you bring in a Lukaku, what if maybe there's a crazy scenario where they keep Osimhen and they get Lukaku, then that has to be your front two. You're not going to play Lukaku on the wing. So maybe what happens is they sell Kavicha and then get Lukaku, and that's their front two. Get in some midfielders who play Zielinski. So that could be scary.
Zielinski is gone. Zielinski is going to Inter.
Zielinski's gone. Yeah.
Signed for Inter.
So really interesting. Yeah, but in terms of Napoli, like Mercato linkings, I haven't seen much either.
No.
I've just heard about rumors about like Conte wants Lukaku, which I could have told you that obviously he's going to be linked. It's an easy link for journalists to do that. So
it's actually it's so weird. And unless De Laurentiis told like Conte, Osimhen is gone, but then again, it was linked to Chelsea, and all the links suggesting that Chelsea are not going to go for Osimhen. So that's that basically. Somebody said they want Buongiorno at the back. I think they will get Buongiorno at the back.
That's a great signing for 3 at the back. That's great.
Yeah, for 3.
He's not amazing. He's solid though. He's reliable. He does his job.
I think,
but he's not like amazing.
No,
he's not on the level of a Scalvini or a Calafiori.
No. He's not. But he can push on.
He's a tier below that, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, if you look at what what they have right now,
exactly, he's much better than Jesus, and yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot believe Jesus is still playing Serie A, quote unquote, top football.
Bad.
I cannot believe it's like they won the league and he was there. Like I don't know who allowed that to happen, but it did happen. but
yeah. No, I was just gonna. Sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say about the Conte hire overall. What I think of it for them, you do this if you don't have Europe.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why I think this makes sense. And if they do win the Serie A or have a really good season, like finish second in the title race and thingy, like it was for a reason because they didn't have Europe, and that's what Conte does. Conte can win leagues. Conte can win leagues, especially without Europe. He did it with Chelsea his first season as well, and they had a horrible. They actually finished 10th as well.
They finished,
ironically.
Yeah,
they finished 10th. The year Leicester won the league. Yeah.
I think the next one I want to talk about is Inter. I think Inter are too far ahead of everyone right now. Like they're just solid across the board. They added pieces. It doesn't seem like they're gonna lose anything really. They're just solid. Like they're the main favorites. Again, like there's no disputing that. They're adding Zielinski. They're adding I forgot the name from the striker right now on a free.
Taremi. Taremi from Porto.
And they got Zielinski. I don't know who they're gonna lose. I saw Dumfries links. That's a win for Inter. Like horrible player. So like they're not gonna weaken themselves. They're actually gonna improve. So they are the favorite. But that was not the main point for Inter this week. It's that Beppe Marotta is now the president of Inter, which I am so confused about because he announced that he's gonna quit football. After 2 seasons, he was gonna quit and he was gonna focus on youth level football. And now he's the Inter president. Which is, I think, very bad news for Serie A. I don't want to sound salty because it is a good move for Inter. Like it's a smart move for Inter. He's well known. He's well connected with everybody. So if I said like if Juve don't get their together right now this summer, and I mean that in making the right signings, and not. Let's say Juve bring in 5 players and 3 of them, or like 2 of them absolutely flop. 1 is okay and 2 do well. You're screwed. So if Juve fail this summer to actually improve, man, Inter have a free hit to dominate for a couple of seasons,
Yeah.
because like this season for us or for Juve it needs to be the base. The base needs to be set to move on and push on a little bit, and then the following season you build on that. If you get it wrong right now, Inter are gone. They're out of sight, and it's gonna take a while to catch up, in my opinion. And it's not because they are financially powerful, but they have Marotta in charge, and Marotta does what Marotta does. He gets the best deals. He gets the signings nobody's really looking at for a good price as well. And he brings stability to a club, off the field stuff or off the field stuff. Like any coaches, players, they're all protected. He's well connected with the media. And like, it's not being salty. It's just fair play to him. He did that when he was at Juve. Everything is very well shielded, very well, how do you want to call it? Like, set
It's
out.
a well-oiled.
Yeah.
He is.
He's in control of everything.
Conductor of the orchestra.
He is, and you can see like when there's no off the field, like because Inter's off the field issues are like financially they're horrible, but you don't really hear anything about it in the media for a simple reason. He controls part of, or not controls. I won't call it controls it, but like he is well connected, and that's good for him and for Inter. Like it is what it is. I wish that was at Juve. Like I wish that was the case with us, but it's not. And for him, I think like going now up against a Juve board that's completely new, young, unexperienced. He's gonna feast if we get it wrong. He's gonna absolutely feast if we get it wrong. So that was a shocking move of the week. Beppe Marotta, like more so than actually Conte joining Napoli, in my opinion, because that's big. That's him actually in control of the club right now. He is in total control of that club. The new owners, they just got the club based on unpaid debts, and I think they're like, we have no idea what to do with it, to be honest. So you kind of guide it for us, and here we are. And for Giuntoli, I think things got just a bit more tougher right now, because now it's literally him against quote unquote everyone, because man, he already has a tough job at hands, in my opinion. But now it's like, okay, you set up to compete with Motta and the signings you're gonna make. Now you need to step up, and it's not easy. Like it's not easy when the competition, Inter in this case, is just a couple of steps ahead of you, and you need to catch up. And there are so many question marks surrounding Juve. Even this week, the news is. It's just going all over the place at this moment in time. I think if I have a feeling the club is trying to sell or like try to understand who they can sell and for which price before they actually move on. Now Caio's out of the door for 7 million. They want quote miners. Junior talks with Atalanta. Huijsen being pushed to be included in that deal. Calafiori, it's Miretti, it's Nicolucci. I think the club is just feeling, okay, what do other clubs want from us? Money-wise and player-wise. That's why I'm like, when people say, is something going to happen before the Euros? I'm not so sure about it. I think Motta will be announced, and then it's about it. It's more about doing a lot of work in a very short period of time after the Euros. That's the vibe I'm getting. And it's not easy, because even the Chiesa reporting it's all over the place right now. It's a lot of lies in the media. When you wake up and you see that Motta wants to evaluate him in preseason, in the first weeks, I'm like, that's a flat out lie. It's not like a kid from the next gen you never saw play. You saw Chiesa play. You don't need 1 week of fitness tests and 1 week of just, I don't know, running on the training pitch with the other teammates. Yeah, like it's Chiesa. You like him or you don't like him. You believe he will reach the top again, or you don't believe he will reach the top again. You will not see that in 2 weeks in training. You just won't. I'm sorry.
It's not like he's Mykhailo Mudryk. It's not like he's Mykhailo Mudryk, where it's like he's talented but extremely flawed. Does this new coach coming in think he can work with the flaws but get the most out of his strengths? Or if he's just like, nah, don't want to deal with that kind of play. It's not like it's Federico freaking Chiesa.
Yeah, that's my point. Like you know what he's gonna offer. You just know there's no ifs. Like the first week of training is just pure fitness. And the second week is maybe some tactical stuff here and there, and then it's kind of August. Like you're not gonna say in August, okay, now we're gonna sell Chiesa because now you need to replace him, and teams are like you're desperate. So that's just not gonna happen. That reporting is BS. Before the Euro starts, you need to know yes or no, for everybody's
Right.
sake. You need to know because
Rabiot as well.
same for Rabiot, same for McKennie, all these players, you need to get that out of the way as soon as
Sule.
possible. Sule, same. Like you need to know, is it 100%? Because I saw the reporting again from Nico Shira, good journalist, saying that he wants to stay. And other reports saying that Motta actually likes Sule. But when you hear talks about 40 million euros, Motta can like him as much as you want. I think the club will tell him, 40 million euros, that's crazy money. But again, like the Douglas Luiz thing it came out of nowhere. Like it's still extremely confusing why this is a real thing. There's actually a thing that's being discussed. It's crazy. Like I have a friend who just watches Premier League, and sports, or like a friend, like somebody on the space, and he's confused as hell. Like he has no idea how that's even a thing. That Aston Villa won.
And then they're linked with Gallagher today.
They were linked with
Chelsea
Gallagher.
Villa. And it's like, so it's going to be do they go for McKennie or Gallagher? Because they're similar players. I think McKennie's a bit better, not by much.
You really? You think?
Like,
if I need to believe Chelsea fans,
they're the same kind of player.
I agree.
Hardworking.
I agree.
Hardworking. They put in tackles, score a few goals, crash the box. I think McKennie's better aerially. Like he'll score you some headers here and there. Technically, neither of them are very good at all. But like, I just think McKennie's a bit more consistent and a little bit less mistake prone. Because Gallagher sometimes he'll receive the ball deep, try to turn. He's not athletic. He's not like, and then pressure invites pressure. And don't get me wrong, McKennie sometimes in that scenario, but McKennie kind of has more of a knack like riding out a challenge. You know what I'm saying? The differences are minimal at the end of the day. So they clearly want that kind of player for the squad.
I don't get it.
So it depends who Villa. Like if Villa get Gallagher, then the Luiz thing for me is probably off with you guys, unless they want two of the same kind of player, which means one of them would be starting. But I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I don't think they're buying.
I saw other links that Tottenham will be pushing again for Gallagher.
Tottenham
as well.
and Atletico Madrid apparently too, which I'm like, there's no chance. There's no fucking chance. Not in a technical league like that. No way.
Yeah, I don't rate Gallagher as well. I don't like. I saw some Chelsea fans still hyping it up. I just don't. I don't get it. It's like McKennie had a good season, but when I see people hyping him up, I'm like, you're doing too much.
Right.
Like I gave him credit for his season, but I cannot hype that type of player. I never will because it's weird.
He's a solid squad player.
Yeah, he's a squad. And yesterday I was live, and somebody said, or after the live, the comments were like, "Oh, but he's a good squad player. You've been disrespectful." I'm not disrespectful. I gave him his credit, and I would keep him in the squad. But if somebody gives you 30 million euros, you cash in. Forget about the squad. We need to improve the first team. You just cash in. Yeah. Like we're not in a position to say keep him as a squad player. If you
same thing goes for Rabiot.
Same for Rabiot. Like for me, it's the same thing.
For an improvement.
I want to improve. 30. Like this is the peak for McKennie. Like we're not gonna get more money for McKennie. With 1 year left on this deal, if you get close to 30 million, that's amazing business. Like that's just what it is. And if we were in 2016 and you're like, oh, but he's a good squad player, I would be like, fine, we keep him. We don't need to do too much to the squad, to the first team. But now we need money to improve the first team. So if somebody wants to pay for McKennie and keep him moving. Improve the first team. Is Douglas Luiz going to improve the first team? Yes. Although, if you're going to keep Rabiot and you're going to push for Coat Miners, which is still on the board very much, somebody said, okay, who's going to play? And we need a better squad. Like, we need a squad, period.
Yes.
I don't think Douglas Luiz had the best of seasons, especially towards the ending. If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. He started off extremely strong.
He started
up until January.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you watched them play Man City at Villa
I
Park.
watched him play. That was one of the game I
They
watched.
absolutely steamroll Pep Guardiola teams over his whole managerial career do not get steamrolled like that. It's once in a 5-6 year thing. They do not get curb stomped like that from minute 1 to 90. And Luiz was like, him and McGinn were I mean, all those Villa players were phenomenal that day, but I think that was kind of the peak. And then ever since then, good performances, solid, some very good ones, but defensively sometimes, yeah, they had to play him deeper because Boubacar Kamara got injured, ACL, and so they had to force Luiz to drop back more defensively. He wants to get forward though. He wants to get involved in build up play higher up the pitch. He's not a defensive minded midfielder, which is what Kamara would give him. So
Yeah.
That's kind of what. So, but yeah, for me, Luiz would be a very good sign. I think he improves your first team definitely. Because do I rate him over McKennie? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll take him over
He's more
McKennie.
physical, more stronger, better striker of the ball. Just more of a presence.
I think
Definitely.
the
Especially in
transfer
a
fee.
3-man midfield.
I also believe he can play in it too. To be honest, I think he could do a decent job in it too. I think the issue is maybe the fee for us. You know, we need to pay quite a lot.
Right.
I saw Dimarzio reporting that he wants 6.5. But I don't think he's that, not stupid, but like I don't think he's asking for that because he's never gonna get that. Not from us. Maybe from Arsenal if we join. Excuse me.
How much is that a week?
I don't know how that much is it. Like 6.5. People think like because when the Premier League they think it's gross. It's net. Like the reporting is 6.5 net. I don't know what's that a week. Is that 120 a week maybe? Something.
I'll look it up actually. I'll look up what he's on right now.
He's on 2.5 right now. He's on less than McKennie currently.
I'll do it in euros. Yeah, Douglas Luiz right here, right now is on 87,000 euros a week, 4.5 million a year.
Yeah, but that's gross. Like that's gross in England. So he's on 2 and a bit net, like in Serie A. In Europe, it's all being reported net. Besides in England, it's gross. So that's a bit tricky. But he's on less money net than McKennie is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think obviously if you join Juve, you're gonna ask for a pay raise. It's as simple as that. That's how it works. Period. Right. But he's not gonna ask. Like he can ask 6.5. He's never gonna get that from us. If he asked for 6.5, I think the club would have made it very clear that this is never gonna happen. We might have just wrapped this one up. It's just never gonna take place, you know, because we're not giving Chiesa 6.5. They're definitely not gonna give Douglas Luiz 6.5. So that's something to be monitored, in my opinion. I still refuse to believe that it's actually gonna go. That we're gonna get done. I think it will be great. You know, under MOTTA. I think it will be a very good job. I think he will do a very good job. Will fit in perfectly. I'm not scared about who's he gonna play, because we play a lot of games next season, and you need a squad. Like you need squad depth. So I'm perfectly fine with the link, but he's not the player we actually miss. Like we need somebody with some attacking impulses. He's not that player still. So Colt Miners could be that guy. I was hoping on Zirkzee with a formation change, but according to Alfredo Pedula,
obviously Griezmann in the hole would be brilliant.
I talked about him yesterday because
I was listening to that. Yeah.
Because Julian announced it, told me that he sent me that he's available on like 20 million or 50 million release clause. I would take him in a heartbeat for 2 years. I would age, whatever. I think in Serie A you will just do his thing, no issue at all. So I would take him, but it's more so of a dream. I don't think it's gonna happen. I was hoping on Zirkzee. I knew that if you want to do that, you need to sell probably Chiesa and Sule, change formation a little bit, but that's just not gonna happen. So it's gonna be interesting because if you need to believe the media, they're selling every single winger we have. Kostic, Sule, Chiesa, Junior, nobody's left. So something is not really adding up right now, you know. You cannot sell everyone. You need players in still. So Still early days, I guess. Like I said early on, I think it's just feeling, like looking around what is possible, what is not possible, and then they can actually make their moves splash. Di Gregorio, it is what it is. Calafiori, I think that's very clear, those two signings, but the other ones are all dependent on outgoings, players included in the
Yeah.
deal, and all those things. So very, very early. But going back to Europe right now, for the last part of the show,
Yeah.
um, we talked about Mbappe like in the past. Like it's not like there's no surprise. Everybody was so acting shocked that he was going to Real Madrid. Like everybody knew that, so it's kind of pointless to talk about it right now because everybody knew he was going Real Madrid 3 seasons ago. Basically, like at one point it was gonna happen,
Yeah.
and it just it
It
happened.
was
Period.
inevitable.
Yeah, it was. Like, there's no other way around. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised. It's very, very quiet, around Europe. I know it's early on, but still, like, there are no real solid news links, if I'm being completely honest, especially from the Premier League. Like, it's very, very quiet, It
Yeah.
feels like nobody is really willing to make that first move right now. Forget about early, like even a link, not signing done deal, just a link because like if you look at Manu's situation, they're still like, are they still debating if they want to sack their coach? Because if so, that's already a bad start. You should be knowing by now if you want to keep
Right.
him or let him go. I think that's already a bad start for them or for the new ownership, whatever you want to call it.
Because it screams of indecision. It screams of I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
they're not moving with any conviction
I
at
feel
all.
it feels like they are a bit blindsided by winning the FA Cup, which is
Yeah,
never a
yeah,
good
yeah.
thing because when we like this season before we went, like we made the Copa final like a month before we played the Copa. Like, actually, when
Yeah.
we were in the semifinal, we beat Lazio 2-0. I was like, you're kind of in the final. I still want the coach gone. No matter if he wins it, time is up.
Huh?
Like, you
Yeah.
cannot, like, one game, a one off
Thanks for the
game,
memories, but
yeah.
let's
Like, a
move
one
on.
off game cannot change your judgments. Like, it can, but it feels like that for Manu, and it's weird. Like, it's so weird. Actually, I saw the list of players they're going to let go or sell. They should be doing business right now, because I
Right.
saw like 8, 9 names on that list. I forget about those players gone. Like you just needed to replace. Like even the players are saying are not good enough, I guess. But that would
Yeah.
like I thought at this point they would have announced he's gone. He's gone. These players are gone, and it's still waiting game, and that's so typical of them. The last couple of seasons, I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it is hilarious. It is hilarious. But look at Chelsea. Not gonna sit here and say Maresca is. Like, I know a lot about Maresca. I watched Leicester play Leeds when they lost. I watched Leicester play Ipswich. So I don't know much about Maresca. But even they were
Yeah,
like, okay, Pochettino, it's not good enough. We're gonna give this unproven one, like if you want to call it unproven at the
definitely.
top level, and we're
Right.
gonna change. And they're moving for players already, and like they already have a squad, you know, built out of I don't know what is it, 50 players. It's insane. But even they are moving, and Chelsea, like Manu, are just sitting there doing absolutely nothing again. Like you said, it's set up for, in my opinion, again another disaster season. It's just
Yeah.
like it's poor,
They're moving with no conviction, no belief in what they're doing, no game plan, structure, like any of that. It's just like I think they're almost scared to make a decision. Cuz like that Man United fan base for whatever reason is like 50-50 dead in the middle split of if they want to if they would get rid of Ten Hag or not. It is so polarizing. Like, bro, I will get asked about it by Man United fans, and then when I give my opinion, they get pissed off at me, a fucking Newcastle fan, for my opinion on Ten Hag. Is like, oh well, you know he won us 2 trophies in 2 years. Like I had some guy come in my watch along and was like, yo, like, oh my God, Ten Hag, he did nothing wrong this year. It was all the players' fault. It was injuries. It was the Glazers, the instability, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then other people are like, everything is Ten Hag's fault, everything. And I don't think he did himself any favors this year outside of winning that FA Cup. Like, credit to him, that's cool, but like, yeah, they finished 8th in the league with a -1 goal difference.
Yeah.
They finished bottom of the Champions League group with Bayern München, Galatasaray, who, to be fair, are a really good team. Like that Galatasaray team, I noticed it from early as well. I was like, damn, this is the best Galatasaray team I've seen in 10 years. Like they got 102 points. So whatever. Even if I give a slight pass for the Galatasaray, the Copenhagen one, I watched them play and I'm like, they're not good, bro. Like they bottle things in the Danish Superliga. They get into good, advantageous positions in these big games against Midtjylland or Brøndby or whatever, and they screw up all the time. So it's like, and you lost to them, and then you scrape by them with the penalty, and it's like, bro, like what's the debate of keeping that Ten Hag guy there? I don't know, because he coached a horrible season, except for a few games. He done barely anything right, tactically, like, but it is so polarizing in that Man United fan base because they scream for stability in management, and they want to, oh my God, Ineos, we don't want you to be like the Glazers and sack managers after a year or two. And it's like, well, you're defending the wrong guy. They are keeping him on principle, but it's a flawed one. It's like, your principle, I understand, but why are you defending this guy? If it was Unai Emery, I'd get that. That's a good manager. Fine. It's, bro.
Also, like the new owners or something, like with Juve, they didn't pick him. Like Giuntoli didn't pick Allegri, so he's like, whatever.
Right.
Like I want to do my thing. It's a bit worrying that they are indecisive. If I were a Man U fan,
right? They're so scared to make a decision though from a PR perspective. I think that's what it is. They're so scared.
If you're a club and you are worried about a football decision you made, like if you're convinced about a football decision and you don't do it because of your because you think there's going to be a lot of backlash from the fan base, leave. You're never going to be you're never going to be successful because
you are not built to handle pressure.
No, like we are fans, we're emotional, we should be emotional. But if you own a club or you operate a club, emotions should be gone out of the window. They should be gone. It's purely strictly business. What the fans think, whatever. If you think you're doing the right thing, the fans will be on board in a couple of weeks because they will see, okay, it was the right thing. The fans are emotional. The club, ownership, management, they should never be emotional ever, because the moment you do that, you are screwed. Like you
hire Ole.
Yeah,
You buy back Cristiano Ronaldo. You get Bastian Schweinsteiger when he's completely finished.
But you will get also you will allow mediocrity to run through the club, because it's like, oh, but he's been here for a while and the fans love him and he speaks well about the club.
2 trophies in 2 years.
Yeah, okay, that's good. It's about winning, but you finished 8, or like what was it like? That's a no go. That's absolutely a no go. If you were finished 10, no matter who the coach is, he's gone. Like he's absolutely gone. Like that's madness. Even if you win like Allegri finished 3rd, won the Coppa, and Giuntoli was like, you're gone. Like it's done. Enough. We've seen enough, or like I've seen enough. With the moment I came in, it's done. Like you could win the Coppa Italia, fine, but it's not good enough long term. And he can be wrong, Giuntoli, long term. I don't know that, but he said, I'm gonna make that decision. It's up to me now. I'm gonna try to go into a different direction. Only time will tell. But like I said, there should be no emotions, because he can come in and he can do. Okay, for us it's a bit different because I think a lot of the fan base was like, get out. But he can easily come in and it's like, man, he's a legend of the club. He won so much. I cannot do this right now. He could have done that, but he didn't. Like he didn't do that. But
and the best thing is about the Motta. Sorry to cut you off. The best thing about the Motta hire is that a lot of my friends that are new to football or people forget that Monta played for Juventus. You know why? Because he earned this gig at Juventus based off his coaching merit.
Yeah, like
Not
he
because he's a
coached.
former player. It's because he's a damn good coach. And he did what he did with Bologna this year. And he's progressed as a coach since those days at Genoa when he was doing 5-2-1s or whatever the hell, or 1-2-5 formation, like he has progressed as a coach. He earned it because he's a good coach, not because he's a former player or a famous name. That's what it is.
With Ten Hag, or like even with like Pochettino or whatever, like they done
Yeah.
stuff in the past, I guess. Went to PSG at one,
That's a
and
while ago, though.
yeah, but like it was not good enough. Even the last, like they could have looked at the last couple of games of Chelsea where they were winning, and they could have said, maybe we can do something," and they still said, "No, it's done. Like get out." And I don't know if Mariska is the right answer, but they said no. They said no. So I think that's clear enough. But the Manu one is, yeah, he did mean former player, legend or whatever, like
Yeah.
established players. People will like that. What do you mean? I think that's what you mean with ex player. Um,
Yeah. Like he was a very good player, and we all know, but he didn't earn it because he didn't earn the job because of that.
no, he earned it
He
because he
got
did. Yeah, he did a good
yeah.
job with Spezia. Did an excellent job with Bologna. And now
Yeah.
clubs are like clubs. Yeah, clubs. Like multiple clubs wanted him, and Juve were like, okay, we're gonna take a shot. Let me see a few comments before we wrap this one up. I saw somebody asking a question first. Oh, it was deleted. So forget about it. I guess. Um, yeah. That's like.
Actually, I have a question for you. If you're Ancelotti, how do you think Ancelotti sets up with Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinny? I think it'll be a 4-4-2.
I think the same. I I think
He'll
he's
get
just
all
gonna.
three on the pitch
I
in the
think
big
in the big
games.
games, yeah. I think he's gonna rotate quite a lot. He does that now, but I think he's gonna
Yeah.
rotate quite. I don't think he has an option. Like you just need to like you just need to rotate,
Right.
and I think he will. I think he will do that. Obviously he's gonna play Mbappe. You're not gonna bench Mbappe. So he's gonna play him. But it's gonna be interesting. Like everybody
And
assumes it's gonna be unstoppable, which like on paper it makes sense, but like even like this season Real Madrid won, and that's credit to them, but it wasn't like lights out football. A lot of the games were like, how did they do Leipzig? Like how did they beat Leipzig over two
right,
legs?
Leipzig played him off the pitch for
Even
large.
Bayern, like how do you manage to win that game over two legs? In my
Right.
opinion, like the first half of the final, it's like how are you not down 2-0 at least? I think clubs are a bit scared of facing them. I think
Oh,
it won't be smooth sailing. You need to adapt. It's a lot of spotlight to Mbappe. Like you need to find the right balance. But man, he's obviously gonna play him. But I do believe he's gonna set up as well 4-4-2, something like that.
who do you think it's now? Because Chris is leaving, but they have Chouameni, Kamavinga, still got Modric there. Goulet can play as a 10, to be fair. Who do you think gets dropped? And Bellingham as well, obviously. Who do you think gets dropped from midfield in a 4-4-2?
Ooh, obviously
Because
not.
all those Valverde is a starting quality player, phenomenal player. Bellingham is a very good player. Chouameni is outstanding, and Kamavinga I think is one of the best midfielders in Europe.
I think Kamavinga, he will use him all over the place, like left
Yeah,
back. Like so, I think he will be
yeah,
kind of a wild card. Like he's not gonna drop Jude, although like the final 5 months, you might have a very solid argument to say drop him because he's not being good. Actually,
Mhm.
he's not gonna play Modric. I think he's just there for a squad. Valverde, like you cannot drop
Yeah.
Valverde. Um, oh man, it's tough. I think it's gonna be
It's a
Jude and
problem that Carlo can solve, though. That's what it is at the end of the day.
it's gonna be interesting. And like I'm sitting here talking about uh, keeping Rabiot, and maybe signing Douglas Luiz, and they have Valverde, Chouamini, Camavinga. It's
And
it's
then they
absolutely
got
two.
Brahim Diaz who could pop up. in a
it's
game or two, or a fucking Arda Güler,
yeah,
who's
life is not
phenomenal.
fair. Life is
Yeah,
definitely not fair. It doesn't mean like
yeah.
they're gonna steamroll everybody because it's still football. Like you still need to go out there and do your thing.
Do it.
So that's a different thing. But it's Real
Actually,
Madrid.
flick at Barca. Flick at Barca. That's another one. That's an interesting. What do you think about
It's
that?
interesting, but that team, man, I don't rate that squad. I don't rate that squad highly.
I
Like they
don't
have
rate
some
that
good.
club.
Yeah, something is. I don't know.
They
Something
move
feels
goofy,
off.
man.
Something feels off with them. Even the links today, I'm like, you're not gonna catch up with Real Madrid like that. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. Maybe in the league, but like really dominant, and being out there as a club, you're not gonna do that. Not by this sign. And again, financially, I get it. It's a mess. They need to solve, but Flick is a good coach, but I don't think he can.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna fix all those things magically overnight. It just needs a lot of work. Midfield, I think it's poor. Even the front line, I think Lewandowski like that season was horrible. Maybe he can kick on again. I'm not so sure, but man, they have Felix on loan, who's not like oh my, it's a
Yo, the
mess.
Felix on loan thing, it just pisses me off because he doesn't deserve to go back there on loan. But Deco is obsessed with him.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Why? Joao Felix is talented, no dispute. He's a excellent player. The problem is he never shows it consistently at all, and he hasn't since he left Benfica.
Yeah,
He had one really good year. He had one not really good, solid 8 out of 10 year at Atletico Madrid. 1 year. Other years it's a toss up. It's like which Joao Felix is going to show up today. Does he even start? No.
no chance.
It's like what? So why are you going in back for him? Let Atletico Madrid just suffer with him. But this is the thing with Barca, man. They always go back. They try to patch holes with the same plumbers that failed. That's what it is. It's like a plumber doesn't fix a leak, and then all of a sudden they're like, I want that plumber again for a new leak. No, how about or the plumber that worked in 2015 was amazing, but now he's terrible. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go back to that guy. It's like, no, look, new ideas, new players. You have La Masia. Like fucking, Barca just. If I was a Barca fan, I'd just be pissed off because it's like
the last couple of years, it's straight up garbage.
bantering.
Like the moves, everything. It's like, oh man, it's quick fixes here, and hey, they won a league in between. That's I have no idea how they managed to do that, but man, fair play, I guess. But I think even if you won that league, I think a lot of Barca fans were realistic and were like, yeah, I'm not sure how, but this is not sustainable. We will see how Flick will do. Um, he seems like a guy who's standing on business and won't allow certain things to happen. So it's gonna be interesting. Maybe he will tell them, I don't need Felix. Like you can spend money on him. It's wasted money. Who knows?
Not a Joao Felix, but Joao Felix is not a Flick player to me.
No.
What position does Joao Felix play, by the way? This has been his problem also since he left Benfica. No manager has nailed him down into a position and said, you're an attacking midfielder in this system. You're a false nine in this system. No, it's left, right, center, mid. It's like nobody can figure it out. No managers in all these clubs that he's been to since then.
Yeah, I don't.
This is the problem with him. At least with Dybala, finally, De Rossi's like, I found it. Second striker next to a big man in a 2 up top system. That's Dybala's best position. Second striker. At least we know that, bro, Joao Felix, that at Benfica, yes. Years and years ago, that was his best position next to Seferovic or whatever. But, like, that was the whole logic of why Atletico Madrid bought him, because they played with 2 up top next to Griezmann. It's like those two you need a different kind of striker to complement him, and it's like he never got that. It's just, bro, he just pisses me off so much, Felix. It's a waste of talent.
It is waste of talent. He never really kicked on. The Chelsea loan spell, everything. Like it's just, you know where this career is going. Basically, you know how it's gonna, how it's gonna evolve. Like he's never gonna be that guy. Period. It's just not gonna happen anymore. Time is over. But We will see. Hopefully next week we have more things to talk about, like more solid news to talk about, like actual
Yeah.
moves. No matter who, Serie A, non-Serie A. I have a feeling there will be more to talk about. A week before the Euros, I think something might be, uh, pop up. But people, we're gonna wrap this one up. If you haven't liked the video, subscribe to Steve's channel. As always, like the video if you're rewatching. Subscribe to this channel. I will not be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is my day off. No live show. I'll be back Friday and Sunday for a live show. So that's that. Steve, thanks for coming on again for the second show we do. And like I said, hopefully next week we have some more stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. Maybe Lazio have a new coach. Who knows? Probably not, but we'll see. People, thanks for watching, and have a good evening. Ciao.